therapy for me. So I got an album out here, get on Spotify, called Therapy by the Black Guns. But, you know, that's just me doing what I do when I'm having fun.
Yeah, I didn't even know, like, you had the music bug still, you know what I mean? Like, to this day, still creating.
I never stopped making music, but the game of queenery and exploitation of my culture and my music, I'm not part of that. So I'm in a position where I don't have to monetize music. I don't depend on it. I can do it as I please, for fun. Not for, you know, when somebody else wants me to, or to make somebody else some money, so I can truly enjoy it. But, you know, I'm a rock star. Everybody knows that.
For sure, for sure. I mean, it's crazy. Like, we sit here today on election day, man. It's a big night. Everybody's like talking and going crazy. Like, how much, you know, stock does Dane put in, you know, today and the outcome of what happens today?
You know, I was thinking about it. It don't matter who's the president. I'm gonna get money. But the distractions and the bullshit that I gotta hear, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's about making a social class fight each other. You know, to keep a social class working and another class not working, but benefiting from the people that are. And I've been fortunate enough to break that social class, first generation of the working class, but I still feel for the working class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, it's like, if I'm gonna make money with the working class, then I'm with the working class. I'm still the working class, regardless of what my tax bracket is.
You never felt like you had to struggle with that? Like, I see certain, you know, celebrities talking about the Biden tax plan is going to take more away from rich people or anything. Does that play into your politics, or?
Whoever cares about that's not rich.
You
know, money doesn't matter at a certain level. It's about happiness. You know, it's about your quality of living. I noticed that people that only care about money can't dress very well. They can't dance. They got no, you know, they don't have people around them unless they pay them. So I'm not part of that game, but I'm in the world of it. Even though I've been able to create my own bubble, I still again have compassion for where I came from. And you know, you've been watching, and everyone's been watching my consistent point of view for the last 20, 30 years. It's been the same. We don't need them. You know, I like to yell at them. I like to embarrass them. I like to call them out by name. I think they're weak. You know, I'm not gonna get tricked by bullshit. You know, brain, which I am, tends to control muscle, but I'm muscle and I'm brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
No, there's no question there for me. I don't know life no other way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like you said, you've been preaching the same message, but it seems like, you know, the more we go on, the more it resonates. You know what I'm saying? And people are starting to really like appreciate what you say more. Like, do you see that, or does that even matter to you?
Yeah. My work hasn't been in vain, and I invested in the future. The young people that are now coming of age. And I haven't. They're too aware. I made them aware. You know, there's accountability when you're conscious, you become responsible. When you don't know, you just feel like, you know, you're depressed. But once you know, you feel angry if you don't stop. You can't be mad at your oppressor, you gotta be mad at yourself for letting yourself be oppressed by another. And I just think this younger generation is too quick, too fast, and they just not having it, too fly. And the old generation, they, you know, I'm sick of talking to them. They just want to fit in. And even though they're my age, I just never invested in them. I always invested in the youngins, and I like what they're doing.
I love that.
Can you guys shift over and back, please? This way. A little more.
Great directing, Nicola. I'm proud of you.
And stop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Good. You can't straight.
Also, you know, you can't not acknowledge the fact that you're in my studio.
Oh, nah, 100%. Like, this is a big deal. Like, I'm sorry we didn't get to that. Like I said, I'm excited, man. This Dane Dash. First of all, we in Dane Dash Studios. Talk about that, man. Like, you know, you created this whole thing, and, you know, I've been watching you just creating content, creating music. Like, why was it important for you to come in and get this space?
It's about controlling the narrative. You know, I have a television network, I have a streaming service, I have a direct connection with my consumer. The middleman is not necessary, and I've always known that. I never understood why we had to pay somebody outside of our culture to to give them our culture, to sell it back to us. And then we're appreciative, we're like humble, like thank you for letting us give you our culture. That trick has never resonated with me. And I just noticed that, number one, I'm better than everybody at everything. That everybody, like from my culture, they're like in awe of like movie makers and music makers and fashion makers and magazine makers, everything makers. I'm actually a maker. I'm maker's mark. You know, I can realize or I can recognize someone's potential before they recognize it themselves, like a Jay-Z or a Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye always knew who he was, though. I'm not gonna front. But
what you mean, like he knew that he was that big, like?
Yeah. He was always fearless about who he was. You know, unapologetic. Other people that I've trained and taught were a bit more insecure and they presented a different version of themselves than they really were. But that's another story.
Yeah.
Well, my point is, you know, my experience and everything that I stand for is making sure that other people that I love don't have to go through the pain that I've gone through. And that's the only reason for being strong. And I think as a man, I think people need to realize that that's what you're here for. To fight for those that you love so your woman can create. Because we can't make a baby.
Yeah.
We can't create life. A woman has to do that. But she shouldn't have to be worried about all the other bullshit to create life.
Yeah.
You know? So I know my job on this planet, to fight for life. My last name is Dash. You know, there's a day you die, there's a day you born, and Dash in between is the life. That's me. I'm life. So I live it unapologetically and truthfully. I don't care what the masses are doing. I actually don't want to be what the masses are doing.
Yeah.
I always want to make sure I stand out in the crowd. I never want to say what everyone else is saying. If I am, I gotta say it first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you've been early, just like, you know, from the times I remember, like just talking about ownership and owning your product. That, you know, you've been screaming that since day one. And I know there's been an interesting, you know, conversation that evoked. I don't know if you saw like Joe Budden's deal with Spotify. That kind of brought up talking about like black ownership, right? Like, you know, him saying how much money he wanted, and you know, Charlamagne has his podcast network, and they were kind of going back and forth on what's the best model. And I know even back in your, you know, the Breakfast Club interview, I was legendary. You were telling them like, you know, own your own network and own your own platform. When you see that and conversations like that happen, like, what do you feel is the best method? Is it cool like partnering with like an iHeart, or is it just like better to do it straight D2C, my own?
Well, partnering is different than working for. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you're a fair partner, a real partner, I think it's all right to make them work for you. They could distribute your shit. You know, as it relates to Joe Budden, you know, I signed Joe Budden to Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Jay vetoed that, but I did sign him nonetheless. But when he did get that initial plug with Spotify, I love Joe Budden, but when I asked him for the plug, he didn't pass it.
What you mean, the Spotify plug?
Yeah, I was like, yo, I got it. You know, what's called, but again, I'm not gonna get on Joe Budden's.
Yeah.
But my point is, you know, people start to talk about their oppression when it's convenient for them at times. But before the oppression, you gotta pass the plug. And I just noticed that we don't pass the plug. Joe Buttons, Noriega, those are my brothers that I signed, but when I ask them for a plug, it never gets passed. I love them, but I am curious to know why. But again, I'm for them for their independence, but sometimes people only start to talk about independence when it behooves them, not the culture. So when I was talking about independence, and still am, I was independent. Still, I wasn't fighting for it. I was just making people aware of it.
Yeah.
When it wasn't so convenient for me as, you know, business. If I wanted to fit in, but I didn't want to fit in. I wanted to free. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just think we got to stick together. Let's not wait for them to jerk us for us to get mad. Don't let them jerk us. You feel me? And when somebody's trying to help you, or if someone has helped you and you get in position, pass the fucking plug.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with us. We protect the plug. We don't pass it.
Why do you think that is? Is it like,
Because
do we
they're
think
not
crabs in
the
a
plug.
barrel thing, or is it like just...
We're programmed. We're programmed to think they're better than us. We're programmed to think that we need them when we don't. It's a good trick. I'm not mad at them for that. I get it. I'm mad at us. I'm mad at me. Actually, I'm not mad at me because I never had to sustain under that oppression.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about it. Like, I was in boarding school and I remember a big wrestler from Texas calling me a nigga and I broke his jaw.
Damn.
I remember another wrestler calling me a nigga and I put dipstick and put garbage on him. This is me at a teenager. I never had to feel the oppression or internalized racism. I've always been able to hit back. But I feel sorry for those that can't. And that's who I fight for, the weak. But the weak are the same motherfuckers that resent me.
Why do you think though?
Because they resent strength. Because they're not. Insecurity. But it's all right. All good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the interesting thing is, you know, what you said is like even protecting the weak, but it seems like, you know, a lot of these deals and structured things are even happening on a high level, right? Like you mentioned, you know, you obviously brought Ye and signed Ye.
Slavery is a choice. You sign those deals, no one makes you. You've been influenced, but no one made you. I've advised good people not to sign bad deals, they do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, money makes people do things that are dumb, and that doesn't give them happiness or wealth. It gives them unhappiness and more insecurity. But, you know, I just think that because of the way we're programmed, we think winning is what other people think. We think winning is being acknowledged by another culture. That needs to stop.
Yeah.
And I've been at the forefront of that for decades. And I'm enjoying, yes, now, but I've been enjoying it the whole time, trust me. Everybody like, I want you to smell your roses now, bro. I've been smelling them the whole time. No one disrespects me in my face.
I love that. But when you see like how Kanye was, you know, tweeting at how, you know, Universal still got him tied up and, you know, he can't own his masters. It's even happening at that type of level. Like, what do you tell, you know, somebody like Ye in that position, like going about trying to secure that?
Dang, he's worth $5 billion. I tell him to relax. But I understand what he's fighting for and the frustrations that come with it when you even got the money and you can't buy something because you're in a deal where weaker people can control something you own. But again, that could have been avoided in the beginning. The problem is people take advantage of young people. Thank you. People take advantage of young people, and young people sometimes have to get hit very hard to learn. But, you know, if you're smart when you're young, you learn from other people so you don't have to feel pain to learn. You get evolved from other people's pain. That's the purpose of other people going through it and surviving it.
Yeah.
So everything I've been through, if I tell you I've been through it, it's for you to learn from it. Or else I went through it in vain. But to be honest, I've been having fun the whole way. No struggle. Other than the natural tragedies that happen that I can't control, every single second of my life has been very rosy. And I'm 50.
That's great. Still got more to go.
I mean, I just started. The run has just begun.
Yeah.
Because I'm nice at everything.
Yeah.
And I know that.
Right.
No one gotta tell me.
Right.
I think that's the problem. People wait for people to tell them they're good. You gotta know you're good. It doesn't give a fuck what other people think or what they say. You have to know you're good.
Is that innate or did you learn that?
Nah. I just always knew it was logical. How could somebody weaker tell somebody stronger that they're better than them?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I'll smack your nose off.
But even in the sense like if we talking about like ownership and having control of our culture, right? Like where, you know, we talking about black labels, you know what I mean? Owned black labels. Is that something that's possible today? Because I know you've been critical of like, you know, Joey IE or Lior. Is it possible to even do that, like in this climate?
See, I don't understand what you're saying. You're talking to me in nickels. I'm
What you mean?
talking keys. You feel me?
How so?
Well, that business you're talking about isn't a real business. It's all perception. It's a facade. It ain't real money. That's why I left it decades ago.
Yeah.
So when you talk, it's not even a real business. It doesn't yield. It's a plaque. It's a stepping stone to something else. And people pretend it's more than it is. So people get more caught up in perception, labels, and other bullshit, especially with social media. You know, it makes things not real. And that's not the language I really speak. I'm not selling that product. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm selling weight. I'm not selling nickels. So if you ask me like, yo, how do you sell nickels or 2 for $5s or trades? I'd be like, why would you even do that?
Right.
Why would you deal with the politics that come with it?
But I mean, even outside of music, right? Like, let's just take it like the NBA players, if they started their own league, is that possible? Like, is that something that's doable?
Why is it not?
That's what I think. I don't
The only
know.
reason why it's not doable is because we won't stick together. But of course it's doable. Everybody, like 90% of the NBA is black, correct?
Exactly.
So then why wouldn't it? Same with NFL. Same with boxing and almost every other physical sport, right?
Yeah.
So if we said y'all can't make no money unless we own it,
Yeah.
or else we not playing.
Right.
Of course we can. That's why I always say I have my own label, I have my own television network, I have my own streaming service, I have my own clothing line. We make our own goals.
Yeah.
We make our own education. You know, you can't expect your oppressor to give you anything to other than something that's going to keep you oppressed.
Right.
So stop looking for somebody to give you something as a way out. We have to make the way out. The door has to be kicked down, but in an intelligent way, not a frustrated break glass way, in a profitable economic way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the only way that happens is if we stick together.
Do you think that, like, I guess, because, like, let's say theoretically, right, the players did that, like, yo, we striking until we get our own league, we need our own shit, and the amount of money that you would have to put up for arenas and venues and TV contracts.
Wait. Why do you think that?
So the owners are putting up
Question. Why do you think that?
because I think that the current owners, as it stands, are putting up money.
They're not putting up a fucking dollar.
You don't think so?
Bro, they leverage their deals with the networks, with the money they're gonna make at, bottom line is they generate income. So you don't put up money when you're generating other people's income. It's like you get hit with consignment.
Right.
They just pay to pay Paul pay them all.
Right.
Ain't nobody put up, they ain't put up the money in the bank.
Yeah.
They don't put up a fucking dollar. And most people that buy teams don't put up their own money. They come from a fund that they represent.
Mm.
Like most businesses, it's all bullshit.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But it don't cost that much to leverage.
So why is that not something we could do? Like if
It is.
LeBron and all these guys just came together and said, you know what, fuck this.
When's the last time you saw us even stick together?
Well, this whole George Floyd thing, I feel like kind of brought us closer.
When is the last time you saw us stick together in any business?
The Lakers didn't play when
When's the last time you saw black people stick together in any business? That's my question.
the NBA.
What NBA?
The Lakers didn't play that game. They didn't play the game.
It's not a business, bro. That's people that work saying I'm not working. What I'm saying is, when is the last time you saw black people stick together in business ownership?
And ownership. We don't own enough to really do that.
What do you mean we don't own enough? I own enough to stick together with someone else that owns a little. We all stick together, we own a lot.
Right.
That's not the question I asked. I didn't ask you to tell me about anybody's pockets. The question I asked you
Yeah.
was, when's the last time you saw black people stick together in any business?
As an owner. It's been a minute, man. I'm trying to think.
A minute.
I'm drawing a blank. Like on smaller levels, but like
What's smaller level?
local levels,
What
local
local
businesses.
level?
Like smaller business, small
So
business.
name it. It's a lot of Is that a business?
I'm thinking, man. I'm trying to get this.
How long is it going to take? A whole show?
Nah.
The bottom line
Point
is,
made.
that's the problem.
Point man.
It should be quicker.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take a whole show. And that's our problem. We don't stick together. I've been trying to get us to stick together. And we don't.
Yeah.
We will at some point.
What does it take?
It takes making money. It takes winning so other people want to be a part of winning.
I feel that. Man, so just, switching gears a little bit, I know, I saw you and Minister Farrakhan on your Instagram going around and it looked like farming. Like I saw like the fresh vegetables and stuff like that.
Yeah, the minister is a dumb. I actually had the pleasure of talking to him the other day for about an hour. But when he sent for me, and I thought he was going to talk to me about something else, he said, I sent for you because I know that you've been talking about farming. Let me teach you how to do it. And he told me.
Wow.
And he's been very generous about information. It's not the information that you would think. He's a genius, he's fast, and he's important to us. And I think we should appreciate what he's done.
Absolutely. How important, like you talking about farming, is that something that you're now thinking about doing like on your own and farming your?
Been thinking about it. The question is, why in school don't they teach us how to farm, to be self-sustaining? The way they don't teach us how to be entrepreneurs, pay taxes, or they don't teach us how to pass laws. They teach us how to play basketball.
Yeah.
They teach us how to distract us from any kind of education. But the education that they offer us is for us to get a job, not to break a social class, but to survive and have debt. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. I mean, if we're talking about like just farming and agriculture, like us even owning that, does that give us more leverage in the marketplace? Like us being able to have?
It means I don't need you, I can feed myself. But also GMO seeds, which the government makes sure people grow when they sell it. That's what's killing us as a culture.
Yeah.
The meat and all the other things that come with it. you know, all the things that aren't natural, the preservatives and all that give us diabetes, cancer, heart disease. And I'm seeing gangsters that don't die from a bullet die from a cheeseburger. So it is important to understand what you put in your body. It makes no sense to spend so much money on foreign cars, designer clothes, and to put cheap food in your body.
Yeah.
You know, eat the same fucking food as a dope fiend. Why?
Right. And that's dope, man. I want to meet the minister, man. I be hoping to get something one of these days, man.
You gotta do something fly.
All right.
You gotta fight for somebody other than yourself. You know, we fight for love, and that's what the minister fight for, because he's good. He can protect himself well.
Yeah.
He's been trying to protect all of us. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, the community's protective over him as we should be. I know I saw Glad, he made his comments about the minister and a bunch of people got mad. I know you've been vocal about it.
Glad.
You want it like that? That's it. Yeah. I feel it. I mean, why do you think the culture still supports him as far as going in?
Fuck Glad.
All right. Next question. Just culture roaches in general. How do we go, like, is there something like, you know, people getting canceled there? Is it like you move to cancel them? Is it just like you tolerate them? Like, what does Dane Dash think about, like, just, you know, maneuvering with the culture roaches there?
Beat the boss. Kick them out your house. The best way to deal with racism, when I walk in somebody that's a racist house, I buy the house, I kick them out. You don't hire my people, I buy your business. Or put you out of business. It ain't about asking, it's about telling.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, you bought I saw you in Wyoming out there with Kanye. You buying land out there?
Yeah, I bought a ranch.
Is that like for fun? Is that like growing stuff? Is that like, what do you do with a ranch?
We make content. We live our life, you know. I think everyone should buy some land. That's what the minister taught me as well. Buy some land so you can grow some shit on it and do what you want. Create your own world, your own boat.
Is it expensive doing that?
No.
What do you feel like as far as business is concerned? You've dabbled in, you know, tons of businesses, tons of different sectors. What do you advise people to like get into and put their money if they're trying to be like make some profit?
Do something that you love. Never get paid to do something that you wouldn't do for free. Because it never feels like work. So I don't go to work. I have fun all day and get paid for it.
You know, what was your biggest lick? Like, what industry would you say was your big, like, damn, I had this time period was...
It's all relative, you know? They've all been stepping stones.
Yeah.
So I did the music thing. I didn't consider it so much bread. Fashion.
Yeah.
A lot of work. Good bread. I think the having residual income, making content that gives you money 20 years later, having a television network like Dane Dash Studios, launching DTV, 24-hour network.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I just think making content is important, but not like, you know, Instagram content. Shit with a beginning, middle, and end with a narrative, you know, that people want to watch over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've been making movies. You know, obviously, I saw a couple of the new trailers and stuff that you had out. How hard is that? Like, you know, I know you've been doing it for a while, right? Like, this ain't new to you, but is it hard, you know, now that it's like solely you on your own, actually creating these films and putting it out?
Nah, it's way easier.
Easier?
Yeah.
Which is like, how so? Like, you would think it's like, you know, if you do it with a production company and come with more manpower, but like...
That's what they make you think. It's way easier to do it with your friends and pay for it and fire people when you don't like what they're doing, and, you know, I'm the boss, bro.
Yeah.
I ain't gotta ask nobody. I ain't gotta walk on no eggshells. I do shit when I feel like it. If something's gonna get fucked up, I'm gonna fuck it up. Nobody else.
That makes sense. But you would take a partnership. You would be open to like partnering with Spotify on some stuff.
Yeah. Partnerships are fine. I ain't working for them.
Yeah. Is anything anything less than 50-50 equals working for them? Or is it still, or could you still have a partnership if it's not 50-50?
What's the question?
Like, could you still have a partnership? Like, if it's not 50-50 to split, is it still considered a partnership? Let's say if it was like 60-40, is that still a partnership?
Yeah. But, you know, I have to be 60. And like I work with record labels, they distribute, they get 25%. That's a partnership, but they working for me. It's just the nature of the partnership.
Yeah. Man, I feel that. I love that, man. Dang, man, what's next, man? Because you just like, I just never know where Dane is going with it, man. It feels like you always jump into something new. Like, just how do you keep the engine moving, like, from here?
Having fun. I love creating. I love fashion. I love music. I love making movies. I love helping my brothers and my sisters. I'm just having a ball, bro.
Yeah.
I can't even really articulate how much fun I've been having for the last 30 years.
I feel it. When I walked in, I see it felt like genuine fun, man. You want a mic just going crazy with it, man.
I just do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it don't hurt nobody. And I get, I sell what I do. And if you don't like it, just change the channel.
Right.
But I'm honest, I'm free, and that's priceless.
Man.
It's like some people are slaves, but the title is not the same. You know what I mean? They tell you you're free, but you still work like a slave, and you still have the same anxieties as a slave. What makes you not a slave?
Is there a certain dollar amount that make you feel that you wouldn't feel like that?
Man, about $1, it's about how much I laugh, how much my girl and my kids laugh.
They're gonna laugh if you got 250 M's. They
They
laugh
don't care
a
what
lot.
I got. They just make sure, as long as they happy, I'm happy. And that's what. As long as I'm laughing and they're happy. It's like, imagine having a bunch of money and, you're sick. Or someone you love is sick. That shit don't matter.
Yeah.
Money is a physical thing that's meant to distract us. Love is the currency that we should be paying attention to. How happy are you? Like if I'm rich and I'm unhappy, I would pay anything to be happy.
Right.
Unhappy is broke. So look how many people have these so-called dreams come true, and you read about them overdosing and end up in rehab, or just mentally unstable.
Right.
That ain't growth.
Yeah.
When you heard Dane Dash contemplating any kind of crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
When you saw Dane Dash not having fun. Ever. Like visually. When did you ever see Dane Dash?
I still remember y'all pouring champagne into the club. Like,
from, even now, my shit is platinum.
Yeah.
I've been having a ball the
Right.
whole fucking time. I don't even understand why anyone would have life without having a ball.
Yeah.
All the insecurities of being broke, I never felt it as an adult, not even as a kid. All the insecurities of being black in America, I always thought that was a strength, not a weakness. And I've been feeling sorry for everyone else that hasn't, but I haven't personally had to feel that.
Like, it felt like, I would say held back, but like the system propels, I feel like it's harder for you in the
What's
system.
the system? I'm never gonna adhere to a system that's set up to make me a slave.
Yeah.
It's funny because I look at the system, I see people get enamored by it, try to fit into it, and I'm like, why go into someone's house you don't own? Just build your own house and create your own system. And that's what I've always done.
Yeah.
Acceptance is not wealth to me.
Acceptance is not wealth. Wow. I like that. Man. So your thing just, last thing, I'm going to take up too much of your time now. I'm appreciative of this. One of the last things I wanted to ask you about was just like black leadership, right? Like I feel like back in the day, it was kind of like you felt like there was more leaders, right? Like you had people to look to that collectively tell us like, yo, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to move. And everybody kind of like followed that. And I feel like now it's not really like that. Do you feel like that type of era is dead? Like, do we need leadership to move forward? Or like, how do we collectively move
It's a different
forward?
kind of leadership. There's a leadership that brings awareness to things but doesn't do anything. But there's a new kind of leadership. The commission. As Senator Andre Carson, Congressman Andre Carson, Senator Eddie Milton, Bishop Purnell, Dr. Chris Purnell, therapists like Taj, and It's the OSG network with Dennis McKeesey with 90 black principals around the world. You know, we're not only bringing awareness to things because we don't expect our oppressor to help us. We're going to actually do things for us helping us. It's a perfect time for new leaders, but a different kind of leader. You know,
Yes.
it's a different kind of narrative. Fuck yelling, fuck bringing awareness without an answer. You know, economical empowerment means that if there's a problem, you pay for it. And you know, my energy is contagious. It's bringing energy. So look at Forbes and look at my students. You read about them.
I love that, man. Yo, Dan, thank you very much for your time, brother. This is meaningful, man. For me, I personally got to make sure I give you your flowers, man. You're part of the reason that I do what I do, man. So thank you, brother. I
Big
really
shout out to
appreciate
Sasha,
it.
because she
Big shout out to Sasha.
made it happen.
Sasha the one that put this together. Sasha, I appreciate you.
And I, you know, I have a baby coming. I'm not even. This is my last day outside,
Yeah,
and I'm
perfect.
going back in for quarantine again for a couple weeks.
Man, congratulations.
Yeah, it's happening.
Love it. Love it.
It's
Ladies and
crazy.
gentlemen.
I'm 50. I'm 49, but I'm gonna be 50. I've been 50
Yeah.
since I was 45.
When your birthday?
May 3rd.
Okay. Yeah.
So you know, this is what 50 should look like. This cool. If you're 50 ain't this fun,
Yeah.
you're playing yourself. If you're not having this much fun at 35, 25, or 45, you're playing yourself.
Hold on, is it more fun at 50? What was the funnest though?
Everything's been fun though. The only thing that's not
30s,
fun
40s,
is
50s. Oh, yeah,
everything
50s.
is- I've been making history since I've been born. Nothing's been whacked. You know, you just look at my decade. I've never sat still in any decade.
Yeah.
For now the second. I'm not hot for what I did before. I'm hot for what I'm doing now. I'm hot from my perspective now, even though it's consistent with what I was doing before. But if I was sitting around broke doing nothing,
Yeah.
I don't think I would hit that hard. But the fact that I'm doing well and I still care this long, and I haven't been outside tap dancing. I'm not the old man in the club doing shit young niggas is doing.
Yeah.
I ain't got no malice, or I'm not mad at the young niggas for being young niggas. They gonna make mistakes. They gonna do what they gonna do. They're creative. They're definitely different than I was, but you're supposed to be. That shit was 50 years ago.
Right.
But, you know, because I'm not surviving off young niggas, I'm not worried about what they're doing. But I do want them to make sure that they don't hurt themselves in the future, and that they hustle for the right reason, and they don't have to feel the same pain that we have. Or else, again, our pain was in vain. Unless you learn from your pain, it's done for no reason. It's not a loss if you learn from it. It's a learning experience. You feel me?
Facts.
Yeah.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, dope ass interview. So many gems, so many jewels. The legend himself, Mr. Dane Dash.
How?